Hello, today is November 16th, 2024. We'll do our disclaimer first, as we always do. We'll go over our calls, we'll make our predictions. It's the weekend, so we'll take a look at our long-term forecast, which hasn't changed, but again at our intermediate term forecast, which has. Please remember, this is my trading plan for Monday. I can change my plan. My plan can be completely wrong. Any trade you make should be made at your own risk. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do, not recommending anyone go along with me. Periodically, we have to remind ourselves, MEJT system, one of the systems I use, gives targets, it doesn't give entries. Well, Friday's pattern was the one with the early low. That's certainly it. And Monday should have the early high. I said that Thursday's pattern was a negative pattern. I thought we had a chance to hit the target of 59.1384 cash. These lines aren't only targets, they're support resistance areas. I said there was support at this price, and also there was balance of the waves at this price too, a good Fibonacci target there. I said if we hit that price, it could be good support. Here's what we said. These are the patterns I'm looking for next week. Well, not only did we hit support, we gapped under it, and gapping under support's a break of support. So before the open, the idea of support holding is killed. Once you break under support, it becomes resistance. And as far as prices go, that's a very accurate price, but it's a price which became resistance rather than support, and that's not what I was looking for. Well, during the day, MEJT said this move is false. It's already retraced, so that's not going to help us. But we gapped down, hit lower lows, closed over midday lows, which means the last few hours this big drop didn't accomplish anything. The failure to follow through after a big drop like this is actually a bullish pattern. Now, time doesn't run out until Monday's open. I mean, if we gap and take this low out early, it's still negative. But if we don't do that, if we hold on to this in early trading, it means we run out of steam and there should be a rally even if we don't close higher. Well, there were signs of a top here, which we thought would be mild. We had the demarked sell signals here. I thought they'd be mild since we didn't drop within 3 days. We had demarked sell signals here, just consolidated over time. I was looking for that. We had sentiment indicators of a top here. They aren't always going to work. We had the same indicators here early October. Nothing happened. I was expecting the same thing, piddling around a bit and then continuing to rally. I'm not so certain that's the right idea any longer, because that's a serious break unless it gets reversed promptly. Now, if I had a magic wand and could make the market do whatever I wanted it to do, I'd call for the market to gap up over this high and keep rallying, which would mean that wouldn't count. And if that didn't happen, which would be a long shot, I would love to see us drop. This is a diamond on stilts pattern with the left stilt. Half a diamond's enough. It doesn't have to go to completion, but if I had my magic wand, I'd like for us to drop way down here to the origin of the left stilt overnight, recover all of it by Monday's open, and then rally over this high. If I had a magic wand, that's what I do. But I don't have a magic wand, and I'm not certain the market's going to give me what I want. This is an island reversal. Well, here's the count I had. I mean, we're still over 50 on the RSI, but it's threatening to change. That's RSI. You could still count this as third wave of multiple degree, it doesn't break any rules, but usually in third waves of multiple degrees, you don't get drops like this one. I mean, you look at it this way with an alternate count. We have the wave magenta 1 in the same place. That's this. And you look at what's happened since then. It doesn't break any rules as you call this A, ABC with good fibs, and that B. And here we have a break of this trend line. Now we broke that trend line here with a gap, and that was promptly reversed. And I was thinking we were going to just leave this behind, but now we've broken through this again, and this just doesn't look like a wave 3 to me. I think this could be a B wave. Every now and then we have to look at the long-term count. We had this wave A, we had this wave B, and we have this wave C. That hasn't changed. It's important to remember B waves can go anywhere, and they can be strong waves. Just because it's strong doesn't mean it isn't a B, which is part of an overlapping pattern. It doesn't break any rules. So instead of this count, this could be 1, this could be A of 2, and we could be in B of 2, even though it's a strong move. So if that's A, and that's B, how far could C go? Well, if you come back to this to mark pattern, the TDST line, their support at and just under this number, could take us back into the 5400s without changing anything. If you look at this channel, that could drop to the 5400s without changing anything. And if you look at this count, and if that's A, and that's your ABC, and if you set A at 61.8%, and you measure C at 100, that could take us to 54.95. And what's interesting is my next lower MEJT target is 54.9856, which I would like to see printed sometime. I sure wasn't expecting to see it now. This is not the time of the year I look for big drops. But we could drop into the 5400s and not change a longer term positive picture of the market. This just isn't acting the way I'd like to see third waves act. Could well be something else. Now we could still rally Monday. If you look at the first wave here and the first wave here, ignore this spike, you get a 50% correction right at that low, and this can often copy it. You got a 50% correction. We could still rally here, as I said. As far as the very short-term picture is concerned, the failure to follow through is a bullish pattern. We have an inside, and today, Monday, next day should be up. So there still could be one more rally short-term. But over the longer term, I don't like this break, and I don't like the fact that it isn't acting like a third wave. Well, Monday's pattern has the early high regardless of where we open. Typically, it's a rally day with a final hour high. If you fail, it's a straight line drop. We gapped down, hit a lower low, but closed over midday lows, and if that's maintained, we don't know if it'll be maintained or not, but if it's maintained and Monday's open, it's a bullish pattern. Calls for higher prices regardless of where we close. Now, gapping and promptly undercutting the low of day kills that pattern. We have the NASDAQ McClellan oscillator near its lower Bollinger Band, volume increase on the drop. All this is compatible with a short-term low if we can hold Friday's low early. But longer term, the market's just acting as if it were in a third wave. That had been my count. We have an island reversal, weakening breadth by these indicators, bullish percentage of SPX stocks and stocks over their 200-day moving average. we have a break of support. Now if you rally strongly from here, it can save the interpretation of this being a wave 3. If my magic wand works and we get those things I talked about, all is forgiven. But the odds have increased. We're still in the wave 2, with the potential to drop as low as the 5400s without damaging the long-term bull markets. Now we don't have to drop that much, but there is a target of 54.9856 cash, and if the market ignores the calendar, has one more blip up and then drops, we could drop that low and still have a huge rally because we have not made the all-time high by a number of other indicators that I've seen, that I have. But right now, I don't like this break, and we forgave it once. I'm not so sure I'm going to forgive it again. Again, we gap up over this, keep on rallying, then I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. But for right now, even though we have positive things for early next week, I think calendar or not, we're just not acting like we're in a third wave. We're probably in wave C of wave 2, and it could have a sizable correction before the bull resumes. But I take things a day at a time, hold this, I look for higher prices, and that's today's call.